Hi, well, thank you so much. This has been a long time coming, Maddie. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Me too.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Maddie Swensen. I'm a loan officer with First Colony Mortgage, and we are the preferred lender for EDGEhomes.
And I'm Jessica Bryce, the VP of Marketing for EDGEhomes. So I just want to get right into it. I don't want to take too much time on this, but what are rates doing right now?
Yes, the question that everybody wants to know, the topic of all discussion about buying a home right now is interest rates. They are a little bit higher than they were the past couple years. We're in the mid sevens right now, depending on your scenario. And so I know that that can deter a lot of people. Just the idea of interest rates right now can deter a lot of people. But something really amazing that EDGEhomes offers when you use First Colony is a 3% seller credit towards your closing costs or to come off the price of your home. A really great way to use this is to reduce your interest rate.
Awesome.
Typically that 3% can drop your interest rate about 1%. Of course, it depends on your scenario, but it's a really, really good tool to make the interest rate a little more affordable and help your payment come down.
Do you think that, from your experience with the homeowners that we have coming through, are they using it primarily to buy down interest rates right now?
Yes, the seller credit is being primarily used towards interest rates, if not just a permanent rate buy down. We also have something called a 2-to-1 rate buy down.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so this is a really, really good tool for somebody who is really conscious of their payment right now, because it drops your interest rate by 2% in the first year of the loan and 1% in the second year. So for example, if your interest rate was 7%, in year one, your payment would be based off of a 5% interest rate.
That's fantastic.
Yes, and year two, 6%.
Okay.
And then years 3 through 30, you'd be back at your 7% rate, but it can cut hundreds of dollars off your mortgage payment monthly for those first 2 years. And then the idea with the 2-1 buy down is that rates will be decreasing. Where they're at isn't sustainable, and so when they do go down, we'll just refinance you to a lower permanent rate.
So if you do the 2-1 rate buy down, you can still do a refinance?
Yes, totally.
Oh,
that's kind
awesome.
of the strategy behind why you would do it. So.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so in your opinion, do you think rates are still going up, or do you think they're still going down?
This is the hardest question to answer. I've tried to predict It's okay. I've tried to predict this a couple times this year. We do a ton of market research as loan officers, but I mean, every prediction we've seen has been wrong. I think they're going to stay volatile, at least through the end of the year, and then hoping that next year they'll start to come down. Okay,
so with rates being volatile, interest rates being relatively high, why should anyone buy a house right now? It's really scary.
Yes, it's terrifying, but it's also exciting. And I think now is the best time to buy a house because everybody is so scared and terrified. And there's a ton of buyers that have left the market just because of the idea of rates. And so I think that everybody should look into what's available right now, because although rates are high, I see a lot of buyers come just asking for numbers and are surprised that they find they actually can make it work. And so you see these headlines and then you realize when you see the numbers in front of you, this isn't that bad. This could be a really great time to buy a home, because historically when rates increase, prices decrease a little bit. And then as soon as rates drop, the buyer is going to be flooded with market. The market is going to be flooded with buyers again, and everybody's going to want to buy it. You're going to enter bidding wars. It's going to be harder to get units. So I think that now is the perfect time to buy, and we use that 3% to get your rate down, get you a payment that makes sense for you, and then we refinance.
I love that. Okay, so you have a ton of EDGEhomes buyers that are coming through to First Colony Mortgage, and I know buyers outside of us as well. What issues are you seeing with people qualifying right now?
Yeah, so I would say the number one issue with people qualifying right now is interest rates. And so that's why I love recommending that my buyers check out EDGEhomes, because you do have that opportunity to get a lower interest rate. When somebody doesn't qualify, kind of our process and what I like to do is talk them through the reasons that they don't and make sure they have a really clear understanding of how the process works. And I find that when we do that, we find a lot of solutions, just information that the buyer thought wasn't super relevant to share, but can actually help the loan a lot. And so we just try to stay really solution-minded.
Awesome.
in this rate environment.
Awesome. What are some things that you feel like people should be sharing with you guys that they often don't?
So one thing that I think is overlooked is if buyers have retirement accounts or stock accounts, money that they're not necessarily going to use for their down payment or closing costs, but that they have. We call those reserve funds, and it helps strengthen your loan file for the investor and underwriters to see that you have money set aside in a savings account that you could use if you entered financial hardship. So that's, I would say, the number one thing that can really strengthen a loan file and help us receive approval that people typically think don't matter because they won't use it.
That's awesome. I love that. And then I know one thing that we've talked about on the side is hard inquiries. So one, what exactly is a hard inquiry?
Yes. So a hard inquiry, super connected to pre-approvals, is just when we run your credit and it shows that we've run your credit on the credit report. So you'll hear a hard pull versus a soft pull. A soft pull, there's no record of it permanently on your credit, but it gives us less information.
Oh, okay.
And so a hard pull on credit is super important when we're being pre-approved because it really gives us a full depth of information that we can use to pre-approve you. And people are really scared about that because they hear, you know, if you have a lot of inquiries, your score goes down. So when you have an inquiry, it really only drops a couple points, and it's that way for a very short period of time before your score recovers. So I would say that's the first good thing to know. And then the second thing, if you're shopping with lenders or have been pre-approved with somebody else, it's super awesome. If all your hard inquiries are within 30 days and they're all from mortgage companies, it counts as one inquiry on your credit report. So I love to tell people that so that they know if I want to shop my interest rate or anything like that, I don't need to be concerned about letting other people pull my credit. As long as it's all within 30 days, it doesn't have any impact.
That's fantastic, and that's really good to know, because I feel like if you're shopping around, especially right now in this market, I feel like rates are really important.
Yes.
Which segues into my question for you. Why should somebody go with First Colony Mortgage over another lender?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's one I get all day long, every day. And I'm always happy to answer. I'm always super happy to answer it because I know that rates are obviously top of everybody's mind right now, and payment, and just knowing that they're going to have a smooth experience. Buying a home should be super exciting, super fun, and the lender can have a huge impact on that. So I'm always open to that conversation. We've been the preferred lender for EDGEhomes, I believe, for over 10 years.
That's awesome.
So we have a lot of good history there, and just in direct connection with EDGEhomes, have a very streamlined process. There are tons of ins and outs about new construction and mortgages that you would think it's just buying any other home. But when you're buying new construction, there are nuances with lending that your lender needs to have a really, really good understanding of to make sure the process is smooth for you. And so I would say that's one of the big advantages of First Colony, is that we are extremely well versed in new construction, especially with Edge. And so we're not going to have any problems there. You get keys at your closing table, which is a little bit of a lower tier reward, but it's still really exciting. So like if you were to close on a Friday night, Friday at 4 p.m., typically you would have to wait all weekend long to get your keys. But when you close with First Colony, you get them at closing. So that's a fun one.
Love that.
Yes. And then we have in-house underwriting. And so that just means that everything can go really, really quick. If you want to close within 7 to 10 days, that's not a problem for us. Because we have direct contact with our underwriters, meaning that if any issues arise, we can resolve them very quickly with them.
Awesome.
We all have very good relationships with them, and they are super committed to helping every buyer get approved.
I love that. Is there any financial benefit of going with First Colony over another lender when you buy with EDGEhomes?
Yes. So that's the 3% incentive.
Love that.
Yeah. So the 3% you only get if you use First Colony, as we're the preferred lender. And then we also work really hard to make our pricing as aggressive as possible for EDGEhomes, to ensure that everybody gets the lowest rates possible.
I love that. Anything else that you'd love to add with this?
I don't think so. Just honestly that I just want everybody to know that when you come to First Colony, we love nothing more than helping people get into a new home and want to make it a good, fun experience. And so we are always open to feedback from our agents. We love working with agents, and just want to make it a smooth process for you.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. This has been really fun. For more information about EDGEhomes, First Colony, and the 3% seller concession, please visit our website, edgehomes.com.